What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Doe Show. It's your boy Dame D, and I am back with another one. What's good, y'all? What's good? Let me check my audio, make sure everybody can hear me before we get today's show started. We're just gonna come back in. We're gonna talk about this Nolan Wells situation with him and his friends. There's a lot of more evidence that's coming out about his friends. About an argument and things like that. We have audio and video of things like that. So we're going to play. So I'm going to check my audio and I'm wait for a few people to come in before we start the conversation. I'm just checking to make sure you guys can hear me. Just checking to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, I can be heard. So what's going on out there? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. What's up? What's up? Good. What time is it? Good afternoon. I was about to say good morning, but good afternoon. I want to come back in here real quick, man, and chop it up about this situation with this Nolan Wells, man. There's been a lot more videos. There's been a lot more talk going on around social media and things like that, But first and foremost, I want to give my condolences to this young man's parents. I can imagine how this father is feeling, and also how his mother is feeling. I know, they're tore up over this situation. You trusted your son to leave out with a group of friends, and he never comes back. So, we're going to talk about that for a second too. But I can imagine again how this young man parents is feeling, today after learning that, that their young boy will not ever be coming home again. That's a horrible feeling, um, horrible situation to be in. Knowing that your child, you will never speak or see your child again. Yep. So I understand. I know these parents are going through. I've kind of was in a situation like that before. With one of my children. So it's a horrible situation that these parents have to go through. They lost a child who had his whole future ahead of him, and he was with a group of friends. So, we're just gonna talk about that. But first and foremost, like I said, I want to give my condolences to the family, man. I know the mom and dad is hurting. This man comes from a two-family household, was doing everything that he was supposed to been doing, in life, and end up losing his life, and trusted his life with a group of friends, and never came back home. So again, my condolences to this young man's family. I know the parents are hurting. I want to give my respect, and I'm going to do my due diligence, and make sure that we talk about this situation until the authorities do something about it. Until they pretty much get to the bottom of this and talk to these friends, because these friends know exactly what happened to this young man. Like I said, I have audio and video that I'm going to be playing. I'm gonna send out a few invites and see if people want to come in and talk about this too. Because this is a situation where we must talk about this. We must force the police to um and jump in and investigate this. We cannot allow for this to be swept up under the rug. Like a lot of cases that we see that goes on around the country when it's dealing with African American men and women. So we have to do our due diligence. This young man has lost his life. He was out partying with a group of friends on the 4th of July and never came back home. So like I said, again, I can only imagine what this young man's parents is feeling like this morning, after discovering and after finding that the body that they, hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know what the hell is going on. Hopefully you guys can see me. I'm having a little buffer. Let me turn this back on and make sure. Sure. Okay, so we good. I'm gonna turn that down. All right, so I'm just sending out a few links to people that may want to come in before I get the conversation started. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and start it anyway. But yeah, that's a horrible feeling to know that your son was out with a group of friends, having fun on the 4th of July, on at an island with a group of friends and never to come back home. That's horrible. Me and Big Ken, we conversated a little bit about this last night, but I just wanted to come back in because, it's a lot more, I'm not going to say evidence, but it's a lot more talk and chatter that's going on social media, with some of his friends coming back, releasing some videos. And, like I said, I'll show the video. So I'm just sending out a few links. Yeah, but I want to say what up, though, to everybody on Facebook. What up, though, to everybody on YouTube. Look, if you guys want to come in and join the conversation, DM me or put your email in the link. And you can come on in and join this conversation with me. It look like I'm running a little slow. Everything is buffering. Let me send Big Ken this email out. You know what? I got to close. Let me close up some of these windows. That's probably what's going on. Got a lot of shit open. Hey, let me close some of this stuff down. I hope I didn't. I did not lose my. Give me a second, guys. I got to make sure I didn't lose my. My video that I had set up to show you guys. Lost this video. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to. I erased my history. I had a video set up. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, I found the video. So look, let me get back to the beginning. So yeah, man. Okay, I got the. We're gonna go ahead and start off. I sent out a few links to people that may want to come in, but I got this video. I'm gonna start off showing. His friends know exactly what happened to him. There was an argument reportedly, and there was a scuffle or a fight that went on that was dealing with him and his friends. You had a lot of people out there that's talking about that there was a confrontation amongst the group that he was with. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this video up, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the video play, and I'm gonna talk and do commentary in between the video too. So I'll stop it and pause it at the same time and do commentary, but I'm getting ready to load this video up, so give me 1 second. Here we go.
Always true, but I'm starting to believe that this little comment right here is so. The said boys that went on water, the poor little Nolan. Turns out it states that one of their mommy is a chancery judge. Oh, ain't that freaking lovely? What? So you mean to tell me that you might be protecting your poor little innocent baby? Boy, howdy, let me tell you. I hope if your son done something to that little boy, I hope he gets every bit of what is coming to him. And that is respectfully as I can get it.
Okay, let's get straight to the point. Let's talk about this sad story coming out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi about Nolan Wells, who was 18 years old. Now, Nolan Wells come from a two-parent home. This picture right here, you can see his father to the left, and that is his mother to the right. Nolan Wells graduated from Ocean Springs High School in class of 2025. Now he
And fair
recently,
use. I'm using this
after
video for
graduation, Nolan was a
entertainment and
football player at
educational
Ocean Springs,
purposes
but he
only.
also went on to go play college football at Southwest Community College in Summit, Mississippi. He was actually scheduled to move back into his campus with his best friend that he went to school with from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I want to say today, July the 5th, Monday, they were scheduled to move back in. Now, if you've been following this story, you know that Nolan Wells went to go take a ride for the 4th of July out on an island called Horn Island, probably about 8 to 10 miles or whatever, off the coast of Mississippi from Ocean Springs. This right here is the island. Right here, you can see it right here. Now, this is the group of friends, along with some others that's not pictured, but this is the boat that he was on with these group of friends. And I can just tell you right now that it's a lot of people feel some kind of way. As you can see in the beginning of the video, that lady kind of hitting there.
Yeah, a lot of people felt some type of way. You know, this young man, and you know, and we hate to try to make things seem racial, but you know, it is what it is. You know, this young man entrusted a group of his so-called friends, which are white, you know, with his life. You know, he went out there, you know, because I've been in a situation like that. I've been in a situation where I was at a party, like at a rave type thing, bonfire type thing, and it was a group of hundreds of white boys around there, white women, you know, and I was pretty much the only black guy, you know, out there, you know, and this is when I was in college, you know, and my spidey senses went off. You know, I got the hell up out of there, you know, and you know, normally when your senses go off and tell you to get up out of there, get up out of there. You know, he must have felt relaxed, he must have felt comfortable, you know, and entrusted these guys, you know. So, but back to the video.
Hey, somebody might be working with somebody. Now, we don't know what's true and what's not, but there's a lot of info coming out. And for Nolan, he just wanted to live it up. Before he go back to school, he wanted to go hang out with his friends out there on the island, catch a boat ride on the water, just having some fun. 18 years old, just doing what kids do. Unfortunately, a parent sometimes go through something that no parent really want to go through, and that is your kid leaving the house with their friends or whomever, and they're not returning back home safe. In Nolan mom, the mom went to Facebook and posted on July later that evening, 3 p.m. July the 4th, wearing blue shorts and sunglasses. It's unclear if he made it back on land. Please message me if you have seen him or have information about his whereabouts at or after 4 p.m.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it. Now, look, you know, the mom is already, that's, you know, a day after the young man went missing. She was, you know, concerned and worried about her son, you know, and that once that any of the friends contact his mother or father, you know, letting them know that, that he was okay or that he was missing or anything, you know, and it sounds fishy, you know. I'm gonna let the video play, but it's just a lot of questions that needs to be answered. You know, his friends didn't call the authorities, his friends didn't call his parents, they just left him out there, you know. So therefore, you know, that's just letting you know that it's a lot of bullshit that's going on in this case.
So basically, Nolan friends made it back, but Nolan did not come back home.
Breaking news, a body has been found on Horn Island near where missing 18-year-old Nolan Wells went missing. Search crews like this one you see here in the air have been searching for him for more than 40 hours now. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brandy McGill. Will Polston has been on the scene at a command post in Jackson County all morning as they search, and he now joins us live. Good morning to you, Will.
Hey, good morning, Brandy. We got word here just at about 8:45 that there was a body found on Horn Island, and the officials are now working on bringing that back. Now, as of right now, we do not have an identity of the body that was found, but I can confirm that Nolan Wells' family is here at the Lake Mall. now of the family grieving. There is quite a bit of family and friends here from Nolan's family. But like I said, we do not have identity as of right now. Sheriff Ledbetter did confirm that a park ranger ended up finding the body that was found, and the coroner was here earlier and has since left. They left right at about 10 o'clock, just after 10 a.m., waiting on getting official confirmation on the identity, cause of death, and everything else in between. Of course, as we find out more information, we're going to be updating you on our website at WLOX.com. A really somber scene as the family all gathered around, hugging, and still waiting to find out the official identification of the body found, though. Reporting live in Jackson County, Will Polson, WLOX News Now.
Unfortunately, Nolan Wells did not make it home. The way he left, he did not return the same. Now, according to the news report, WX, it was found at Horn Island. And as we all know by now, that body was Wells. Now, July the 4th, Facebook searching for a son. We found home only for July the 6th. Nolan mother as well, but the mother had also made a post wanting to thank everybody, the friends and the family, community, in United Cajun Navy over the last few days. His father, our family, friends, and I are absolutely devastated. My heart broken for my sweet Nolan was a special soul. God took his time creating our son. I ask that you please give me and my family time to grieve. And Nolan will love his mother and his father by his side, led to this tragedy hitting his family. Now, this is Nolan right here with his friends on the boat. Allegedly, I think this is them heading to Horn Island. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming down. I said we was going to talk about it, so let's get into it. Now, allegedly, there was a confrontation. Not sure exactly if Nolan Wells was involved in that confrontation, but there are some people on the internet that is saying that the group that he was with had a confrontation within the group. And now, as you can see right here in this picture, I'm going to play a video, but this is someone filmed, and you can actually hear someone get into it. And they're trying to say allegedly it was the group that Nolan was with, and this is Nolan right here. Now, shout out to Anna Seymour for the video. We're going to play this video. You got to listen real close.
Because
you're going to hear
you can hear the tension going on among
having a trouble.
Pushing out there, so it's like a needle, not a needle in a haystack, but like the opposite of a needle in a haystack.
And that group is the group that Nolan Wells was with. Now, this turned out to be true. Some facts that the group he was with was having a conversation missing, and his friends going back. Nolan not coming back with them. Now, it was an argument with his group. This person said right here that one of the passengers on their boat is pretty certain that Nolan was a part of the group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. So some people got 4 or 5 all at different times.
So remember that.
Then you also have someone else is saying they were fighting amongst themselves.
See,
And
and you gotta remember everything that he's saying. You have other lookers that were out there stating that there was a group. This group were fighting amongst each other, and he was part of that group. You know what I mean? So you have to ask yourself questions. You know, they talked about Nolan talking to this young white girl that was out there. You know, was the friends mad about that? That, you know, was it one of the guys that may have liked this young lady that he was talking to and didn't like it? You know, so you got to ask yourself, what was this confrontation about? You know, why have the authorities not have talked to these friends about this confrontation amongst him and his friends? But here we go.
Saw it, and they all say yes, it was amongst themselves. So the group that Nolan was with allegedly had a big confrontation out there where they either got to fighting or almost fighting. But still, for them to have a heated argument, then he come up missing and everybody else go back home, there's some questions that need answers. Now, there's someone who also said that they were anchored there too in their boat. And they said that they left very quickly after a fight around 4-ish. So you got a little different times, but you have a lot of people, witnesses out there that are confirming that get down definitely happened between the group that Nolan was with. Now, Nolan's cousin, I don't know the relation, but clearly, you know, families is going to be upset, especially with all this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Deserve that. Nolan was in college playing football, hoped to be in the NFL, and a family who loves him dearly. I love you, cousin. She's upset. Now she got in the comment section. Now she wanted the guys that he was with to be arrested because, you know, people saying, and people are saying that the people that Nolan was with may have done something to Nolan. Who knows? Even insights. But one thing about it is you got to just go ahead and just be cut and dry. Don't put no salt on it. Just say what you want to feel. Shout out to this lady, Jessica Stewart. I feel like she gave the best breakdown of this whole thing with Nolan Wells being out there 4th of July at Horn Island with his friends.
One situation, this little boy that got lost out at Horn Island yesterday, because I just hate to see motherfuckers making videos about somebody else's trauma just to get a damn dollar. But I'm just going to go ahead and take it too far because that's where you always find the truth. I think that every phone of every fucking not their parents. Number two, I want to know who the parents of these kids are. Are any of them lawyers? Just asking for a friend. Do any of them work for DMR? Do any of them work for the City of Ocean Springs, Education Department, City Department, any kind of governmenty positions on the children? Moving on. Obviously, who the fuck leaves their friend on a damn island? Some lady on the internet just said, okay, and then what? What did Nolan say? What? No, I'm trying to get Katie's number. No, I left my koozie over here at this other boat. Hold on, let me go tell my homeboy over here we're leaving. What happened after that? Since we know they told him to get on the boat. What did he say when they told him? I think Katie's irrelevant. I don't think she has a leg in this race. I don't know none of these folks. But I just think poor little Katie really ain't got nothing to do with it unless, I mean, you know, unless they didn't want to see that cute little boy out there with that little girl.
Right.
And there's some weird shit going on in the deep south of Mississippi. Showed up to school on time and was an outstanding citizen. To be honest with you, I don't get that kind of energy that he was like, nah, I ain't get on the boat. I ain't doing good. I ain't getting that energy. And again, I don't know this person, but I got some wow friends myself. Okay. I almost had to drag my little friend Christy up out the damn hard rock pool last weekend because she wasn't ready to go. But guess what? We came together. Happen. And I think that the most important characters in the whole fucking plot are too quiet. I haven't even looked up the people involved. I'm just following posts that are being made in comments. But man, most murdering story out of Mississippi I've ever heard.
This whole situation is sad. You have a mother and father who was waiting for their son to come back home on the 4th, and what they're going to do. He left. Father trusted that, hey, he's just going out with his friends. They're going out on an island, to have fun. Around the boat. Just stuff that you just doing people upset. A lot of people feel some type of way about Nolan being out there with those friends. According to a lot of reports, the friends actually brought Nolan's cell phone back. Everybody's wondering, if you can bring his phone back, then where was Nolan?
Right.
Like Jessica said in her video, somebody knows something. Even if it's not foul play, somebody knows something. It's a bunch of people. If y'all look at some of these videos, it will boats on both sides of the island. So this clearly is a hangout spot that everybody goes to and hang out. So there's a lot of people out there. So how is it that Nolan was the only one left out there, not for one, but for 2 days before he was discovered? And if the friends, nothing was involved, why, when you take the phone back to the mother, just say something to the mother like, hey, Nolan is out there. We couldn't find him or something. Now you have a mother who is grieving, a father who is grieving, a family who is grieving, and you have an 18-year-old kid whose life's come to a tragic end over what? How it happened.
Okay, I'm gonna go in and stop and come out. So yeah, that's what's going on. That's some of the news that's been coming back. That it was a confrontation amongst Nolan Wells and his friends. And it was a scuffle, so you can clearly hear an argument. You can clearly see that the guys were, we're having some type of argument or some type of disagreement, so it's a lot of fishy things that's going on. They found his phone, took his phone back to his parents, but you don't find Nolan, and then you leave the island without your friend that you come with. You know what I mean? It's a saying, you leave who you come with, so you make sure that you're secure, that everybody is good that came with you, and we're not leaving until we find everybody. And that's what should have happened. So, at the end of the day, man, these friends know exactly what happened to this young man. There, like I said, there were talks about this Katie, this young lady that Nolan may have been talking to. They were out there drinking, everybody partying. You may have one of the group of guys that he was with probably was jealous of him talking to this white girl. You got to remember, they were in a deep, still in Mississippi, where a lot of racism still goes on and things like that. So his friends definitely, the answers and the questions that needs to be answered is going to come from his friends. They know exactly what happened. I'm hearing that that everyone has cut off their social media their social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and all that. And I'm hearing that one of the friends' moms is a judge. So this all sounds too familiar. This almost sounds like a little bit like this Carmelo Anthony case. With all these lawyers and things like that, and judges being involved. But yeah, man, that's how they're going to get down to the bottom of this. That's how they're going to find the answers, is through these group of friends that he went down there with, and that left this young man on the island. You go down there, you entrust your friends, you entrust that they're going to bring you back like how you were before you left. And this young man never made it home. So again, I want to give my condolences to this young man's family. I can imagine how this father and his mother is feeling, today after hearing yesterday that their son will never be coming home. So look, I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinion on this. They found the young man's body yesterday, and there still have been no reports of his friends being arrested or even talked to, and that's the crazy thing about it, because if the shoe is on the other foot, a lot of people would already be investigating. More than likely, every last one of the friends would be investigated by now. People would be locked up and things like that. They would have been trying to get down to the bottom of this, but hopefully, this young man gets justice that he needs. Hopefully the authorities, after, we have to do our due diligence. We have to keep this story alive until we forced the authorities to check into his friends, because his friends definitely know the answers, to the questions that we need. It was an argument, it was a scuffle. They said that the boat took off fast, right after, the argument and scuffle and whatnot. So a lot of people who had cameras and phones out there, like the one young lady said, everybody's phones need to be confiscated who was out there. And how the hell did you find this young man's phone, but you can't find him, and you take the phone back to his mom and dad, and you don't explain anything about the son? Like, look, we lost contact with him. He may have left, but here's his phone, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do any of that. So it's a lot of unanswered questions. So I just want to come back in real quick and talk about this for a second. I woke up, a lot of this was coming through my feed, about the friends and about the confrontation and things like that. So we have to continue talking about this. We have to continue to making sure that we like, comment, subscribe, and share, so all these stories can get out. Therefore, this young man's parents can get justice for what happened to him. Because he entrusted this group of white friends with his life, and he ended up losing his life. That's a horrible situation. And we cannot let this one ride, or we cannot let this slide. So we're going to have to force the authorities down there in Mississippi to get on their ass and get on their job. Hopefully they're on today. They're on it this morning. They're getting people in, interviewing the friends that he was with. Because like I said, at the end of the day, if anybody know what happened to this young man, it's going to be the friends that he came with. So again, I don't have anything else to add. We're definitely going to be doing more updating as more information comes out about this case. So I'm going to be all over anything that I hear. I'm going to bring it to you guys and talk about it, because we have to continue to talk about stories like this until this young man's family gets justice. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a group of his friends that he was with that had something to do with his life. I'm more than 100%, that his friends know what happened. So a lot of people speculating that, this young girl that he so-called was out there talking to, maybe one of the friends didn't like that, because at the end of the day, he's a black man. And a lot of these white guys they hate it when they see, their women talking to us, and they don't like that. So one of them probably could have gotten jealous and tried to take that out on him. So hopefully we get the answers that we need to this case. Hopefully this one of his friends will come up and talk about what happened. Because like I said, it'll eventually come out. It was too many people out there not to know what happened to this young man. So look, I'm not going to hold you guys in. I just want to come in for a quick second and talk about this case. And we're definitely going to do a little bit more talking about this later on. I just want to come in and show the video that I showed about them talking about the confrontation, the arguments that he had within his friends, with the group that he was with. So, the authorities got the answers right there. They know who to talk to. They need to be looking for this young man friends, those 3 friends that he went out there with on that boat. So, and they'll get the answers that they need. So at the end of the day, it's another one. It's your boy, Dame D, and I am out. Peace.